Summer camps in January? Stay with me here. This video is for you whether you're a parent or you're part of the village, which is equally an important part of bringing up these little human beings. Hi, my name is Annie. Welcome to my channel, Annie Unleashed. I am a financial planner and a success architect. I provide empowerment, both financial and career, with a little bit of soulful wisdom. Today, I'm going to bring you into my home a little bit and talk about something that comes up for me as a parent, which is summer camps in January. I'm going to talk about some solutions and stay till the end. I'll leave you with a special thought. Before we jump in, I'd like to thank everybody who supported my first video, subscribed, and especially added a comment about what worked for them. This is a conversation, not a monologue. So I really appreciate your support, and I'm here to support you right back. So let's talk about this. I was having a conversation with my daughter in the last week, and I was trying to get her input. She's in middle school. I was trying to get her input about the upcoming summer camps and day trips, overnight, day camps, that type of thing, based on what she's already experienced. And at one point, she got really frustrated with me. Mommy, why are we talking about summer camps in January? She's right. Now, obviously, as a middle schooler, she's got no context, but I had to explain to her, you know what? You're right. But here's the thing as a parent I have to deal with. I have to book and register you for your summer camps in January, because if I don't, the camps that I want for the budget that works for me and the timing that works for me won't be available in February and March. It's crazy. It doesn't make any sense. If you think about any of the things that you pay for during a school year, whether it's classes, tutoring, music, sports, STEM activities, any of those things, you either pay for them just before or after the service has been delivered, not 6 months in advance. So yeah, January becomes really stressful, especially if you've already been spending the previous 2 to 3 months before that, whether it's Thanksgiving, whether it's October or November for you, depending on where you're based out of, maybe Christmas, maybe throw in some family person's or loved one's birthday in there. And then the credit card bill comes in January, and then you've got to spend more on that credit card to register them for camps 6 months in advance. By the time February comes around, and you're trying to declare your love, I love you, your credit card is like, no, stay away, I don't love you, right? So it becomes super stressful. Now, as a financial planner, I'm going to talk about some things to consider. And as a parent, I'm going to talk to you about my experience as well. So what can you do when you're trying to figure out your summer schedule? One is you book all the weeks of the summer with day camps or overnight camps. Now, how does this benefit you? You are going to have peace of mind. You know what your schedule is. You know that your child is going to be socialized, maybe learn some fun skills, have some fun, be around others just like them with their level of energy, right? And you also know that because they're going to be occupied in what the schedule is, that you know what your schedule is going to be for the summertime, right? So whether you are employed, whether you are an entrepreneur, or whether you have other dependent family members and your time and effort is required to help take care of them, this is going to be really important. So booking all of those things in advance, paying for them and registering them in January does give you peace of mind. The disadvantage, though, is that you've got to think of the budget and the cost. So if you haven't saved up in advance, which is a very common financial planning recommendation, just like anything that you would save up for, whether it's retirement, whether it's your vacations, whether it's house purchases, education savings, whatever the case may be, you normally are kind of putting aside a bit of money every month. But we tend to forget about summer camp savings. And so every January, it becomes this really painful experience. So what do you do if you haven't saved up before January for these summer camps? Then you've got to put in a strategy for after. Now, after may look like maybe you reduce some of your expenses for the next few months so that you can pay off that credit card with the goal of paying it off, in the 6 month period, or at least maybe not paying off your credit card, but at least paying off the summer camp portion of it. Credit card conversation is a whole nother thing I might make another video about. Now, the other opportunity, the other idea that you could do is you book no camps at all. And this is where the village comes in. So if you are not booking any camps at all in January and February, you're pretty much out of luck if you're looking at March, April, May, especially in June, to get your child into an activity that they enjoy, that works for you time-wise, and so on. So if you're going to activate your village, whether that be family, friends, friends of yours, neighbors, other parents that are, whose kids are friends with your child, then there's some things you still need to prepare for in advance. What I mean by that is it doesn't cost you money necessarily. It doesn't cost you money, but it does cost you time and effort. And what I mean by that is you're not just going to suddenly have your kid start play dating in the summer months. You're going to probably want to do that throughout the year so that you are comfortable with the environment that they're in. You build up good rapport and credit with that parent. You also, vice versa, have their kids over at your place, and you build up a level of trust in that relationship. Also, you're going to want to have clear boundaries and expectations of what it looks like when your child is over there, and you're going to want to know what that parent needs or expects when their child is over at your place. Things like allergies are really important to note. I know my daughter has a peanut allergy, and so that is something that definitely, if I don't mention it, my daughter will definitely mention it and advocate on her behalf. But these are just some things to think about. Now, the third option is a bit of a hybrid option. So you book some of the weeks for camps in advance in January and February, and you also activate and leverage the village. So what that might look like is that you will pay for some of the things, and still you'll need a strategy. If you didn't have one before, you're going to have to figure something out after, and you start to coordinate with some of the people around you. Now, here's the thing. When you start to activate your village, you don't need to let them know 6 months in advance. In fact, they probably don't know what's happening in their summer months in January and February. So the advantage to that is that maybe early June, end of May, you're starting to have those conversations and see when people are available, and what they're willing to do in terms of time commitment or activity commitment with your children. Now, here's the thing I'd really like you to know before I go into our acronym. If you are taking any little steps to either budget for this or beforehand, or try to pay it off afterwards on your credit card, I want you to celebrate those little steps that you're taking. Now, the reason why I say that, even if you put an extra $10, an extra $20, whatever the case may be for you, if you're putting in any kind of strategy that requires discipline financially, you're going to want to celebrate every little step that you take in a fun way. You're going to want to jump around. You're going to want to dance. You're going to want to do something fun and enjoyable for you, maybe for 10 seconds, maybe for a whole minute. Whatever that is for you. And here's why. Because every time you take a really disciplined step or a difficult step, every time you put a little extra to put towards the summer camps or towards paying off the credit card, your mind is like, but I could spend that money doing all these other fun things right now. And in order to really support your brain in making the right decision and being disciplined and supporting that, that financial wealth, you're going to want to celebrate it. It kind of just rewires the brain so that the next time you have to make another tough decision or choose every month, okay, I've got to put a little bit more towards that summer camp savings or towards paying off the summer camp fees on the credit card, you're going to want to congratulate yourself and celebrate. For me, I love putting up a song that pumps me up, and I dance around sometimes with my daughter, and I tell her what I'm celebrating so that she also learns to celebrate the hard stuff. And every time that comes up again, my brain is like, oh, hey, wait a second. The last time that you took this really tough step, you celebrated and had fun. So let's do that again. Okay? So I just really want to make sure that I mention that. Now, here's my acronym. While you are trying to figure out the whole coordination and costs of summer camps in January, remember to play. P, play often, have joy. It helps rewire the brain. So have those moments where you're really present and having fun with your children. And know that all the other stuff that's waiting for you, all your responsibilities, the laundry, the work, if you're employed, or certain or emails that you have waiting for you, those things will be there when you get back to it. But this moment with your child, it will pass by quickly. So play often and have joy and figure out what that means for you. L, learn what works best for you. So experiment, take note of different solutions and figure out what works best for you. You know, if in activating your village and having your child have a play date for a few hours with a neighbor friend of yours or or a school friend works for you, except that maybe there's something about it that you don't appreciate or you don't enjoy or doesn't work for you, know that and take note of it and then do something about it. So learn what works best for you. Talk it out with a friend. If you can't figure out all the ideas that you need to by yourself, talk it out with your friend. Some of my best ideas have been completed by one comment that somebody said, whether it was a friend or a neighbor or somebody that I was speaking to, or sometimes I'm just in the line and somebody says something and I think, oh, that's it. That's what I needed to figure out the rest of my idea. So take input that way and figure out what works best for you. And then moving forward, that's, better for next time, right? So A, so we've got play often, learn what works best for you. And A, align your actions to help you achieve milestones. Now, this is where you got to deal with some of your saboteurs, and I'll talk about this in a whole nother video, but oftentimes our intentions don't align with our actions. So while we may have good intentions to pay off that credit card, with all those holiday purchases and summer camp registration fees, we know that we want to, put a little extra towards the credit card, but I really needed to pick me up today, so I got myself a dessert, or I got myself an extra fancy coffee, or whatever the case may be for you, or I made some more online purchases late at night because it was right in front of me and in the moment. So it's really important to help align your actions so that you achieve your milestones. And you do that by what I said earlier, which is celebrate all those little steps that you take to help you achieve those milestones, so that your brain rewires to really look forward to doing those tough things because it knows it's going to be rewarded with some kind of like play and fun and dance, and it could be a nature walk, whatever the case may be, or go hang out with your friend, or take a moment to sit in your armchair and read a cozy book, whatever it is for you. Align your actions to help you achieve your milestones. And the fourth one is why? Yield rewards. So whether that's peace of mind for you, for doing something for yourself, or knowing that you broke a financial pattern in your family, those are things worth celebrating. So you will yield rewards by figuring out what works best for you, by having fun, figuring out your village, whether it's saving beforehand or figuring out a strategy afterwards to help you have ease and flow in your life. Now, keep this in mind. You only have to do summer camps for a certain number of years, right? By the time they become age 17 and 18, they could become counselors in training, CIT, or counselors, and actually start earning money, or doing other kinds of summer jobs. So just know that this won't last forever. This too shall pass, right? And meanwhile, you're dealing with college and university after that, but that's a whole nother conversation for another video. Most importantly, be resourceful. Leverage your extended family or your circle of friends, your adopted aunts and uncles. Build relationships with other parents at school. Those things take time to develop and trust. People have different values and cultural beliefs, and that's okay. as long as you can kind of come to some form of agreement or consensus, and your kids really get along, it's really important to nurture that. And it starts with the parents. So here's where, if you stayed this long, I'd love to leave you with a special thought. Today, be special to someone. But to make sure that you get it right, practice making you feel special first. Feel free to share in the comments what has worked best for you when you're trying to figure out how to book summer camps in January. Thanks, and I'll see you in the next video.